Are you looking for a fun crochet gift idea for friends, or your new best-selling item at a craft show? Or perhaps your wine classes just need a makeover? I'm so excited to share this adorable, funny, unusual, and unique, yet still quick and easy wine glass jacket crochet pattern.
Hello from Halifax. I'm Jo with Jo the World Creations.
We're going to be getting right to the step-by-step video tutorial showing you how to make these crochet wine glass jackets from start to finish. There's a full detailed written pattern available entirely for free on my website, and there's a link to that in the description below this video. We're going to start by making the jacket body. Start with the color that you'd like for this jacket body, which is the same color that you'll use for the sleeves. And I'll be using an H hook. We're going to start by making a slip knot. Place your slip knot on your hook and pull tight. Now we're going to chain 18. 2, 3, you go ahead and chain 18. With your 18 chains now made, we're going to slip stitch into the first chain made, working under the top loop to join. As we're doing this, we want to be careful not to twist our stitches. So form a little circle, insert your hook into the top loop of the first chain made, and now we're going to slip stitch to join. To start the body round 1, we are going to chain 2. 1, 2. We are not going to turn. We're going to continue working in the same direction. We are going to make our first stitch into this first chain, the same chain that we just slip stitched into, and then we'll be working in this direction. It's okay if the backs of the chains are facing you. Into this first chain, we are going to make 2 double crochet stitches in the same chain. Working into this first chain, make our first double crochet stitch, and make a second double crochet stitch in the same chain. We are now going to make a double crochet stitch in each of the next 8 chains. And when we make our stitch, we are going to be working under the top loop. Working in the next chain, make our first of 8. There's 1. And there's 2. You go ahead and make 8 and come back to the video. With our 8 double crochet stitches now complete, we're going to work into the next chain, and into this next chain make 2 double crochet stitches. In the next chain, make 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1 and 2. Now we are going to make 1 double crochet stitch in each of the remaining 8 chains. There's 1. You go ahead and make 8. I've made 7 double crochet stitches so far. I have 1 last chain to work into, and I want to show you what that looks like because it can get a little tight. Here is my last chain. Here is the top loop I'll be working under for my 8th and final double crochet stitch. Working in this last chain, make our 8th double crochet stitch. You should now have 20 double crochet stitches made in this round. This is my 20th stitch. In this pattern, chains never count as stitches. So the chain 2 we did at the beginning of this round does not count as a stitch. Only count the double crochet stitches. To finish the round, we are going to slip stitch in the top of this first double crochet stitch made in the round to join. Working into this first stitch, slip stitch to join. One thing we want to do before going any further is to adjust our work. Right now, the backs of stitches are facing us. We want to just adjust our work so the front of the stitches are facing us. All we're going to do is just adjust our work so that the front of the stitches are facing us. The round we just completed was a right side round, meaning that the front or outside of our work should be facing us. So with that simple adjustment, the front or outside of our work is now facing us. To start the body, round 2, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we are going to turn our work. Round 2 is a wrong side round, so the inside or the back of our work should be facing us. We are going to skip the stitch that's attached to the chain 2. The stitch that's attached to this chain 2 is the slip stitch from the previous round. This slip stitch never gets worked into and never gets counted as a stitch. We are going to start by working in the next stitch. When we work into this next stitch, we're going to begin the repeat portion of the round. This is what we're going to be repeating all the way around. In the next stitch, we are going to make 2 double crochet stitches. Skipping the stitch that's attached to the chain 2, working in the next stitch, we're going to make 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1. There's 2. The next part of the repeat is to make a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So we're just going to make 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Working in the next stitch, make our first of 3. In the next stitch, make our second. In the next stitch, make our third. These are the steps we're going to be repeating all the way around. Let's do it one more time together. In the next stitch, make 2 double crochet stitches. And then double crochet in the next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, and 3. You go ahead and repeat that all the way around. I'm almost finished repeating that all the way around. I have 4 stitches left to work into. Nothing special happens, but I know it can get confusing to see what that last stitch is. So I wanted to show you what it looks like when there's 4 stitches left. But I'm not doing anything differently. In the next stitch, I'm still doing my first part of the repeat, which is to make 2 double crochet stitches in the same stitch, and now double crochet in the remaining 3 stitches. And here's my last stitch. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 25 double crochet stitches. To finish the round, we're going to slip stitch in the top of this first double crochet stitch to join. Working in the top of this first stitch, slip stitch to join. To start the body, round 3, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to turn our work. The right side of our work is now facing us. We're going to skip the stitch that's attached to that chain 2. That's a slip stitch that never gets worked into or counted as a stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to make 1 double crochet stitch. Skipping the stitch attached to the chain, working in the next stitch, make 1 double crochet stitch. We are going to make 1 double crochet stitch in each stitch around. So simply work 1 double crochet stitch in each stitch all the way around, and then come back to the video. I'm almost finished working all the way around. I've just made my 24th double crochet stitch, and I have one last stitch to work into. I wanted to show you what that last stitch looks like, as I know it can sometimes be confusing. When in doubt, count your stitches. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 25 double crochet stitches, so you can always count to make sure you're working into the correct last stitch. So here I am working into the last stitch and still making one double crochet stitch. As I mentioned, you should have a total of 25 double crochet stitches. To finish the round, we're going to slip stitch in the top of this first double crochet stitch to join. Working in the top of this first stitch, slip stitch to join. After round 3, quickly measure your work. We want to ensure that the jacket fits properly on the wine glass. At this point, when folded, your work should measure 4 inches across. If your work is measuring differently, start again with a different hook size. For the body, round 4, we're going to do the exact same thing we just did. Chain 2, turn our work, skip the stitch attached to that chain 2, working in the next stitch, double crochet and double crochet in each stitch around. After working all the way around, make sure you have 25 double crochet stitches and then slip stitch into the top of the first stitch to join. For body round 5, we're going to do the exact same thing. Chain 2 and turn. Skip the stitch attached to the chain 2, working in the next stitch, double crochet and double crochet in each stitch around. Once again, make sure you have 25 double crochet stitches complete and slip stitch into the top of the first stitch made in the round to join. Now to start body round 6, we're going to do almost the same thing, but the end of the round is going to be slightly different. But it starts off exactly the same as what we've been doing. Chain 2 and turn. This is a wrong side round. We're going to skip the stitch attached to the chain 2, working in the next stitch, double crochet and double crochet in each stitch around. I've just finished making one double crochet stitch in each stitch around. You should now have a total of 25 double crochet stitches. And what's different about this round is we are not going to join. This is actually the end of the round. After you make your 25th stitch, that's it. By not joining this round, we're creating this little jacket opening. To start the body round 7, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and turn our work. Round 7 is a right side round. To start round 7, we are going to work into the very first stitch. This is the stitch that's attached to the chain 2. We're going to work directly into that and make our first double crochet stitch. Working into this first stitch, make one double crochet stitch. Now we're going to make one double crochet stitch in each stitch all the way around. You go ahead and do that. I'm almost finished working all the way around. I've just made my 23rd double crochet stitch. I still have 2 more stitches to make. I wanted to show you what the end of the round looks like because it looks a little different since we didn't join the previous round. Here's the second last stitch. And here's the last stitch, which can be a little tricky to see. It might be on a bit of an angle, but this is the last stitch we'll be working into. And nothing special happens. You're still making one double crochet in each stitch around. I just wanted to show you what that last stitch looks like in case you were confused at all. You should have a total of 25 double crochet stitches. Once again, we are not going to join. To start the body round 8, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to turn. Round 8 is a wrong side round. For all of round 8, we are going to be working into the back loops only. These are the loops that are furthest away from you. When we go to make our stitches, we're going to insert our hook under this back loop only of each stitch. We're going to start the round by working into the first stitch. This is the stitch that's attached to the chain 2, and we're going to work into the back loop only of this first stitch. And working into the back loop only, we are going to make 2 double crochet stitches in this first stitch. Working into this first stitch under the back loop only, make our first double crochet stitch. Now we're going to make our second, still working under the back loop only, make our second double crochet stitch in the same stitch. Now we're going to start the repeat portion of the round, which is what we'll be repeating all the way around. Here's what we're going to do. In the back loop only of the next stitch, we're going to make 1 double crochet stitch. Working into the next stitch under the back loop only, make 1 double crochet stitch. And the next part of our repeat, working into the next stitch under the back loop only, make 2 double crochet stitches. Working into the next stitch under the back loop only, make 2. There's my first of 2. And here's my second, still working under that back loop. And that's what you're going to repeat all the way around. We'll do it one more time together. In the next stitch under the back loop only, make 1 double crochet stitch. Working into the next stitch under the back loop only, make 2 double crochet stitches. There's 1 and there's 2. You go ahead and repeat that all the way around. I'm almost finished working all the way around. I'm still continuing the exact same repeat. I've just made 1 double crochet stitch in the second last stitch. So just to show you what happens in the last stitch, nothing special. I'm continuing the repeat, working into this last stitch. I'm going to make 2 double crochet stitches into this last stitch. So into this last stitch, still under the back loops only, make my first and my second double crochet stitch. At the end of this round, you should have a total of 38 double crochet stitches. We are not going to join this round. We are now going to fasten off, which means to cut the yarn that's attached to your skein, leaving about an 8-inch tail, and then pull the tail through the loop that was on your hook and pull tight. And then with a yarn needle, weave in all your loose ends. Now we're going to make the sleeves. We're going to use the same color that we used for the jacket and same hook size. And I'll be showing you the instructions for one sleeve. You'll need to make 2 sleeves, and the instructions are the same for both. Before starting, make sure you leave a 12-inch starting tail, as we're going to use the starting and ending tails to attach the sleeves to the jacket. So leave a 12-inch starting tail and make a slip knot. Now we're going to chain 8. 1, you go ahead and chain 8. Just like we did at the start of the jacket, we're going to slip stitch into the top loop of the first chain to join. And we want to be careful not to twist our stitches. So slip stitch to join. To start the sleeve round 1, we're going to chain 1. We're not going to turn. We're going to continue working in the same direction. Our first chain that we're going to work into is the first chain, the chain that's attached to that chain 1, and the same chain we just slip stitched into. Working under the top loop of this first chain, we're going to make a half double crochet stitch. Working into this first chain, make a half double crochet stitch. And once again, it's okay if the backs of the chains are facing you. Now we're going to make one half double crochet stitch in each chain all the way around, always working under the top loop. Working into the next chain, make one half double crochet stitch and simply make a half double crochet stitch in each chain all the way around. Because it's a small area that we're working into, it can get a little tight. If you need to keep track of your stitches, we're going to have a total of 8 half double crochet stitches at the end of this round. So here's my first, second, third, fourth. I'm now on my 5th. And the chains can get awfully tight here. 6. 2 more chains to work into. 7. And here is my last chain, the 8th chain that will make our 8th half double crochet stitch into. Working into the last chain, half double crochet. Just like with the body, the chains in this pattern never count as stitches, so we don't count that chain 1. And then to finish the round, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet stitch that we made to join. So working into this first stitch, slip stitch to join. All of the sleeves are right side rounds, meaning that the front of our stitches should be facing us. Let's adjust our work to ensure that the right side is facing us. So I'm just adjusting my work. Pull at the starting tail, and here's the right side of our work now facing us. Now we're going to start the sleeve round 2, and this is what we're going to be repeating for the rest of the sleeve. We're going to chain 1. We are not going to turn. We're going to work into the first stitch, the stitch that's attached to the chain 1 we just made. Into this first stitch, we're going to half double crochet. Simply make one half double crochet stitch in the first stitch. Now we're going to make one half double crochet stitch in each stitch around. Working in the next stitch, half double crochet. At the end of this round, we'll have a total of 8 half double crochet stitches. Here is the final stitch that I'll be working into. The stitch next to it is the slip stitch that joined the previous round. This stitch never gets worked into or counted as a stitch. So this is where we'll make our 8th and final half double crochet stitch. Working into this last stitch, half double crochet. You should have a total of 8 half double crochet stitches. To finish the round, we're going to slip stitch in the top of this first half double crochet stitch to join. Working in the top of this first stitch, slip stitch to join. For the sleeve, rounds 3 to 9, you're going to do the exact same thing we just did and repeat round 2. You go ahead and do that, and after you've finished round 9, come back to the video. I've just finished completing round 9. If you need help counting what round you were on, you can count your stitches. Here's my first round, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, and 9th. At this point, your sleeve should measure 4 inches. Now we can fasten off, and we want to make sure we leave a 12-inch ending tail. So make sure you have 12 inches, cut the yarn that's attached to the skein, and pull the tail through the loop that was on your hook and pull tight. And you can go ahead and make 2 sleeves. When your sleeves are complete, we're going to attach them to the jacket body. I attached the sleeves 3 inches away from the middle. I attached the top or the shoulder in between rounds 5 and 6. So I attached it right here. Then I attached the pocket in between the 2nd and 3rd round, right here. And the same on the other side. In between the 2nd and 3rd round for the pocket, and for the shoulder in between round 5 and 6. And I attached the sleeve all around the sleeve opening, using each of these stitches as a guideline, as a way to attach the sleeve to the body all the way around. So I'd insert my needle into one stitch, the first stitch in this case, and then weave the yarn into the jacket body in the correct place, and then once it's attached, go into the next stitch on the sleeve opening. And then I would repeat this all the way around. If necessary, you can go around even one more time to make sure that the sleeve opening is attached securely to the jacket body. Once both sleeves are securely attached, weave in all your loose ends. I've just attached my sleeves. I did not use stuffing for the inside of the sleeves. Now we're going to work on the purse. I'll be using this soft taupe color and an H hook. Before we start, we want to leave a 12-inch starting tail. So make sure you leave 12 inches, and now we're going to make a magic circle. This is how I make a magic circle. I have a whole other video showing how to do this step by step slowly that I'll link to. For the purse round 1, we're going to chain 1. We are now going to make 15 double crochet stitches into the magic circle. There's my first. There's my second. You go ahead and make 15 double crochet stitches into this magic circle. You should now have 15 double crochet stitches. The chain 1 we made at the beginning does not count as a stitch. We're now going to pull the magic circle tight to close. And to finish the round, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet stitch that we made to join. Working in the top of this first stitch, slip stitch to join. To start the purse round 2, we're going to chain 1. We are not going to turn. For this round, we're going to be working into the back loops only. These are the loops that are furthest away from us. We're going to start by working into the first stitch, the stitch that's attached to the chain 1 we just made. Working into the back loop of this first stitch, we're going to half double crochet. Working into this first stitch, into the back loop only, half double crochet. We're going to be working into the back loop only of each stitch around, and in each stitch, we're going to half double crochet. Just make 1 half double crochet in each of the stitches all the way around, always working into the back loop only. You go ahead and make a half double crochet stitch in each stitch around, working into the back loop only. You should now have 15 half double crochet stitches. We are never going to work into the slip stitch, and to finish the round, we're going to slip stitch into both loops of the first half double crochet stitch that we made in the round to join. So working in the top of this first stitch, insert your hook under both loops, and we're going to work under both loops from now on. Slip stitch to join. As you can see, my work is curling up. We want the purse to curl in the opposite direction. So I'm going to adjust my work so that the right side or the front of that first round that we just completed is going to face down, and the front of our stitches from the last round we just made are now going to be facing us. The whole purse is always made in right side rounds. To start the purse round 3, we're going to chain 1. We're not going to turn. We're going to work into this first stitch, the stitch that's attached to the chain. In this first stitch, we're going to half double crochet. And we're going to make a half double crochet stitch in each stitch, all the way around, working normally under both loops. You go ahead and make a half double crochet stitch all the way around. You should have a total of 15 half double crochet stitches. To finish the round, we're going to slip stitch in the top of this first half double crochet stitch to join. For the purse round 4, we're going to do the exact same thing we just did. Chain 1, don't turn in the first stitch, half double crochet, and half double crochet in each stitch around. You should have a total of 15 half double crochet stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first stitch to join. Now we're going to make the purse strap. Do not fasten off. Right from this spot right here, we're going to chain 15. However, if you'd like your strap to be a different length, you're welcome to chain another number. There's no specific multiple required. You go ahead and chain 15. With your 15 chains now made, we are going to work into the second chain from the hook. So here's the first, here's the second. We're going to insert our hook under the top loop, and we're going to single crochet. In the second chain from the hook, insert your hook under the top loop and single crochet. And we're going to single crochet in each chain. So working into the next chain, still under the top loop, single crochet. You go ahead and make a single crochet in each chain. I've made 13 single crochet stitches so far. I have one chain left to work into. Here's the last chain. It can get a little tricky to see. Still working under the top loop of this last chain. Make your final single crochet stitch. You should now have a total of 14 single crochet stitches. Now we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch. This is the first stitch from round 4 of the purse body, and it was the same stitch that we slip stitched into when we finished round 4 of the purse body. And into this stitch, we're going to slip stitch. Working into this stitch, slip stitch. Now we're going to fasten off our ending tail. You can remove your hook, cut the yarn that's attached to the skein, leaving about an 8-inch tail, and pull the tail through the loop that was on your hook and pull tight. Then with your yarn needle, weave in this ending tail, but don't weave in the starting tail. I've just weaved in that ending tail to the inside of my purse. Now we're going to prepare for putting the strap on the opposite side of the purse. And how we prepare for this is by taking this starting tail, and with our yarn needle, you can turn your work inside out. Might want to give this a little tug. With our yarn needle, we're going to weave it under stitches and make it come to the correct position so that it's completely opposite this side of the strap. So we're going to weave it here, bring it up the side, and so that it's going to be right here because we're going to use this starting tail to attach the strap to the other side of the purse. However, we are not going to do that until we've put this purse on the sleeve. The first step is to weave the starting tail to the correct position directly opposite the other side of the strap. Go under all these stitches. Now I'm going to move this strand up the side, still working into stitches until it's at the correct position directly opposite the other side of the strap. Now my starting tail is in the correct position. My purse is currently inside out, so I'm going to turn it back so that it's right way. And now I'm ready to put the purse on the sleeve. I chose to attach my purse to the left sleeve, left meaning when the jacket's facing me. I chose to attach it to the left sleeve. So what you do is you take your purse, take the strap, make sure it's not twisted, and then pull the strap through the sleeve. Now with this starting tail and our yarn needle, we're going to attach the strap to the other side of the purse. But we wanted to make sure that it's on the sleeve before we do that. And then we're going to sew the strap to the purse. I'm going to go through the back of the strap here and attach it going from back to the front on the purse. Going through lots of stitches, and you can do this a few times until your strap is nice and secure and attached to your purse. I've just repeated that a few more times. My strap is now securely attached to my purse, and now we're just going to weave in this loose end. There's our final purse. Last step is let's make the flower. In the pictures, you'll see that I've used this butterscotch color for the center of the flower and white for the petals. Because these are both hard to see in a video, I'm going to use fern for the center of the flower and this pink color for my petals. For the flower, I'm using an E hook, and we're going to start with the color you'd like for the center of the flower. We're going to start by making a magic circle. To start flower round 1, we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to make 6 half double crochet stitches into this magic circle. There's 1. You go ahead and make 6 and come back to the video. With our 6 half double crochet stitches now made, we're going to pull the magic circle tight to close. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet stitch to join. Working into the top of the first half double crochet stitch, slip stitch to join. Now we're going to fasten off this color. Cut the yarn that's attached to your skein and pull the tail through the loop that was on your hook and pull tight. Now we're going to change colors and attach the color you would like for your petals. We are going to attach this new color to the first stitch. This is the same stitch that we just slip stitched into. Insert your hook into the first stitch. Place the new color on your hook and pull it through. To start flower round 2, we're going to chain 1. We are not going to turn. We're going to continue working into this first stitch, the same stitch. Into this same first stitch, we're going to half double crochet. And now we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch. Next, we're going to begin the repeat portion of the round, and this is what we're going to be repeating all the way around. Working into the next stitch, we're going to do 3 things into this next stitch. The first thing we'll do is slip stitch in the next stitch. Now we're going to make a half double crochet stitch in the same stitch. And then we're going to slip stitch in the same stitch. That's what we're going to be repeating all the way around in each stitch. We'll do it one more time together. In the next stitch, slip stitch, then half double crochet in the same stitch, and slip stitch in the same stitch. Every time you complete those 3 things, you've created a petal. You go ahead and repeat those steps all the way around until you have 6 petals. The first stitch we worked into counts as the first petal, second petal, third petal. You continue until you have 6 petals made. I now have 6 petals made. We're now going to do something we haven't done throughout this pattern. We are going to work into the slip stitch that joined the previous round. We're going to make one final petal working into this slip stitch. So working into this slip stitch, we're going to do the exact same thing that we've been repeating all the way around. Into this slip stitch, we're going to slip stitch, half double crochet, and slip stitch into the same slip stitch. To finish the round, we are going to slip stitch into the same stitch that we made our first petal into. So working into this stitch where we started to work in this round, we're going to slip stitch to join. Now we can fasten off, but we are going to leave a 12-inch tail so we can attach our flower to the jacket. So cut your yarn, leaving about a 12-inch tail. Pull that tail through the loop that was on your hook and pull tight. We're not going to weave in this end, but we're going to weave in all the other ends. You go ahead and weave in all these other ends. Once those ends are woven in, we're going to use this ending tail to attach the flower to the jacket. As you can see here, I've attached the flower to the right side of the jacket when the jacket's facing us, and simply with your yarn needle, attach the flower through the petals, the backs of the petals, and attach it all the way around. After it's been attached, weave in any loose ends. And now you have a brand new wine glass jacket. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how your wine glass jackets are turning out and what you're using them for. Are they for your own wine glasses? Are they for gifts? I'm here if there's anything at all I can do to help. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, I'd be delighted if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you again and have a wonderful day.